What is up, everybody? Cory Vincent here, and this is a new episode of Video Game Bang. What do you think about that, kids? All right, the kids are all here, and David Webb is here.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Just living this semi-charm kind of life.
You baby.
Do.
90s were the best generation of all time.
They were the best generation. What do they call the baby boomers? Greatest generation.
Greatest generation. 90s was the greatest generation.
How about the millennials?
She is not part. Actually, are you technically you're a 90s kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma Skies, everybody.
Am I a 90s kid? Get the fuck out of here. We all know the 90s didn't end until 2005 anyway.
It's true.
How I Met Your Mother. The 80s didn't come to Canada until 1995.
The 90s, they were a wild ride. You were there for part of it. I don't know if you get your full credit. What year?
I remember Y2K.
You do?
Yeah.
You remember everybody going and buying batteries and water?
I remember everybody freaking the fuck out over nothing.
Yeah, I kind of remember that too.
My dad worked in IT. He was like, it's fine. It's gonna be okay.
This doesn't mean anything. He's back and better than ever. Curtis Fisher, what's up?
For Y2K, I was like curled up underneath a blanket in my grandma's room, like on her bed, like watching the TV, like it's over. This is it. I'm 10 and we're done.
I was like that for 2012
or 15. 2012.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, with the Mayan calendar?
With the Mayan, yeah, because the whole time I'm like, they probably just ran out of stone. But what if they didn't?
No, when I saw that, what's his name was acting in the movie, I knew it was all right.
John Cusack.
I was like, oh, we're fine.
That's fake.
John Cusack.
That's what they meant by the end of the world, is you had to watch another John Cusack movie.
In chat, what's going on? Twitch, if you guys are listening to the podcast, we do stream it live on Twitch on Wednesdays and Saturday nights, and we have some beautiful people like our social media guy, Ego Brain, Z71, Lost Sheep, Noxy, holding it down. Thank you guys so much. And for the rest of you out there, if you guys didn't know, we do a podcast now, a new one. It's a limited series on our Patreon, patreon.com/videogamebang, and it's all Game of Thrones, baby. And this last episode, we got some comments on it, and it's all like, your guys' theories are weird. Like,
Your theories are weird.
Yeah. Hang on. For the
Your
record, people.
theories are weird.
Let's just calm down here. Cory's theories are weird.
Which one of my specific theories did you think was weird? I thought we all had some pretty. Your theories are weird to me.
Sansa and Tyrion getting married and ending up on the Iron Throne together.
Yeah,
that's weird.
That's a stretch.
You don't think that's gonna happen?
That's a stretch.
It's all right in
Let
front
me think.
of you.
Fucking no.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna happen, and once it does, then we'll have some comeuppance. I don't know what that was.
I think my theory is more plausible.
Which one was that?
Night King is going to win. Most people are going to die. Those that don't are going to have to escape to Essos.
So you think we're just getting a completely shit ending where it's all
Yeah,
bad?
that sounds all right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Has the series done that before?
Has the series done that before? Yeah, Scrubs.
Oh, well, that
season
was
that shall not be named.
That was bad for a different reason.
Oh, it's bad. It was a shitty ending.
Speaking of
Lost.
bastards,
Fucking teaching school.
Yeah. I saw something interesting. A nice little icebreaker question going on the internet. Everyone's doing their 5 occupations.
Yeah.
I started thinking about it. I don't know what you guys have done. David, what's your 5 occupations?
Okay, I'm not gonna do it in order, but I was a camp counselor at a space camp.
Okay.
I talked about that on the show with the
that was like
National Guard.
You were young, right?
Yeah, I was like 7th grade.
Okay.
I was a barista.
Barista?
You were a barista?
Yeah, many years.
At like a Starbucks or what?
No, it was at one called It's a Grind. It was really big down in SoCal. And they came up here. There was like 3 or 4 of them in Roseville, and I worked at pretty much every single one at one point or another. Now the only one up here is in Elk Grove.
Did you pick up any skills from that? Like, I always assumed that Ego Brain in chat, like, he worked at Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
Like, before, he couldn't cook. He could barely tie his shoes. And then he got a job at Jamba Juice, and all of a sudden he's, like, a smoothie guy. So then I assumed, like, hey, now this fool's going to come home and just make me some mad smoothies. But he never did. Do you have the skills still from a barista?
Oh, I do. I mean, everything is basically a latte, and you just add something to it. You want a mocha? It's a latte. Add chocolate. Everything is a latte at the base. But no, mine was more of a curse, because then I would go after I was done working, at a coffee shop. I would go to get coffee at like Starbucks. I'm like, no, this is wrong. This you guys made this wrong. Let me come back there and we just make it. Let me show you how to do it. And then I worked retail at like a lot of different stores. Buckle, I don't know how big Buckle is, so I don't know if that's like a
I've
nationwide
never
thing.
heard of that store. Is it just
Yeah, we have.
belts?
There's one at the mall.
Yeah, that's when I worked.
Is it just, what is it?
It was
Jeans.
like a high end kind of like Lucky brand jeans and Seven jeans and
True Religion?
True Religion. Yeah, all
They
those
say
kinds.
no, but I keep giving.
Yeah. Worked at Gap. Worked at Banana Republic.
Jeez, you just worked at like all the whitest places in Roseville.
I worked at Hagen. Well, yeah, it's
Roseville.
Roseville. That's all there is.
There isn't anywhere else to work.
I worked at Hagen Dazs.
Oh my god. That's crazy. I thought I had a lot of jobs. Curtis, what about you?
Custodian, Jamba Juice.
Oh, you did the Jamba thing too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, did Jamba. Custodian, Jamba Juice. Video editor at Thrasher, Genius Bar. phone
At
tech
Thrasher.
support.
What? That's dope. That's cool.
Your
Yeah.
trajectory
Years
was
ago.
like, what? And then, oh, sick. Like you turned a corner real hard in there.
I tried, man. I don't know. I was always grinding. I mean, I had a job ever since I was like 13. I wasn't even supposed to be getting paid.
Dang.
Yeah, bro.
Emma, have you ever had a job?
How dare you?
Damn.
Well, I've talked on the show. I
Cold-blooded.
used to be a lifeguard. I've done.
Emma was in charge of keeping people alive. Let's just
Ooh.
think
I
about
was.
that
Think
for a hot
about
second.
that.
I was also in
people.
charge of the people in charge of keeping people alive. I was a supervisor at that job as well.
I feel like
Dang.
that's better because they're not directly in your hands.
Yeah,
you just
they
have to
are.
make sure that those people don't fuck up.
What kind of leader
But-
were you as a supervisor? I'm curious to know.
Tight, like
What do you-
remember Joffrey? In Game of Thrones?
I'm nice. I'm a good boss.
Were you liked by your minions?
By the good ones, yeah.
But
what
the
Joffrey
ones who
said.
didn't.
But if like they fuck up, I'm not gonna like. I'm not. I don't know. Whatever. So I did that. I've done Special Olympics volunteer work.
Hey.
I've been in event management. I've done professional photography.
Dang.
It's probably about the extent of my resume at this point.
You had a good little run. My highlights were GameStop,
Nah, okay.
Game Advisor. That's an actual title.
Hey.
It's not floor guy.
Okay.
It's Game Advisor. My job is to advise you on which games to play,
Okay.
and occasionally like pick up some trash on the floor.
Right.
It's my. So I do that too. It's pretty good at that.
Not above that task.
Nah, not above that task. And then what did I did like some weird stuff with Dish Network,
Okay.
like over the phone things, which was cool. And then
So you're the motherfucker I couldn't get off hold with.
I'm the guy who was like, let me put you on hold. Click.
Yeah.
Call back, bitch, because I'm not done. I'm not gonna get berated anymore.
I'm nice to customer service people.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm really nice to customer service people.
I am to an extent.
Because I know it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's what
eventually
people
it
don't
does
understand.
become their fault.
That's the part that hurts the most. You're just trying to do your job. I'm legitimately trying to help people, and then they're just taking out frustrations on me. Well, the last person I talked to was from India. You know, I'm glad I'm talking to an American now.
I hate when they do that. I'm like, and then I look at the notes, and it's like one of the people I used to work with in Elk Grove, and
Oh
I'm like,
no!
you're a jerk. I always say something as much as I can say without me getting in trouble.
When I worked at the Gap call center, we had a button. So if they got too irate, we hit the button. Loss prevention would come over, plug their headset into our phone, and kind of just sit in on the conversation. If it was bad enough, they would take over.
Yeah.
But it would trace the call, and then after the call, like after you were able to like de-escalate it enough to get off the phone, then they would go to their office, call the customer, and be like, "You're no longer welcome to shop with this company."
Fair enough.
Man,
Good for them.
Yeah.
wish we had something
I'm always
like
like,
that.
if there's like a really big problem, it's like, if I can tell that I'm getting frustrated, I always stop myself. I'm like, I understand this isn't your fault. I really do. I know, like, you're just the person I'm talking to right now, and I'm trying to explain to you what's going on. But I understand it's not your fault.
That makes a difference.
Wish more callers were like you. Maybe I wouldn't want to cry myself to sleep every night with a bottle of Jack Daniels.
I know. I was gonna say, 'cause, yeah, you do phone support.
Oh yeah, I do.
Stuff. Yeah.
Damn,
Oh my
Monday
god,
for me.
I cried on the phone to tech support once, and it was like the most embarrassing thing in the world, and I felt so bad for the guy on the other end of the phone.
Wait, you cried?
Because I had called about a problem I was having with my computer, and I was in the middle of finals, and he told me my hard drive had crashed. Like, he was like, this is the problem you're having. You have to send your thing in. Everything you have is gone. And I, like, literally just started crying on the phone. I felt so bad. I'm like, you didn't sign up for this. I'm so sorry.
I literally watched one of my coworkers like hug and hold a person. She was a student that went through data loss. Same thing, right in the middle of finals.
It was horrible. I was in the middle, like, I'd already finished 4 papers. I was in the middle of 2 more and in the middle of another presentation. And, like, he didn't, because he was just like, oh, you're going to send your computer in? And I was like, wait, no, what? No, these are due tomorrow. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Motherfucker, this is my college finals. This is not
which
acceptable.
is AKA my life. You know how much I'm
like,
paying to go to school?
Right? I was like, please tell me that. He's like, nah, there's nothing I could do. I was like, cool. I'm going to go because I'm going to go cry myself to sleep.
I've lost years of my life just dealing with data loss.
I think the most upset I've ever been at someone on the phone was, you know, those, it was back in the day when this was still kind of a, like, it would still catch you off guard, but it was those get your credit report things. Mm-hmm. And so I called to get my credit report, got a credit report and everything, but then they don't tell you, but they just pull money out of your account for like in little tiny increments.
So you don't notice.
Yeah, it's like $2 or $3 a month. And then finally I was going through my finances, like trying to get a house. And so I'm going through, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. What the hell is this company? And they took like $3. Elizabeth, you know what this is? Yeah. No, I don't know. You have to like go into Google and backtrack the name because they don't use the name freecreditreport.com.
No, it's some corp.
Yeah.
That they're,
that it kind of fits in. Looks like
doing
anything.
Business as.
Yeah. So I call them and they're like, yeah, we could refund you. Like, I was like, how much did I spend here? They're like $500. It was like some big number.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's a lot of fucking money. Give me that back, please. And they're like, all right, well, as a service to you, we don't normally do this, sir, but we'll give you 2 months back. $6.
Wow.
I was like, all right. Hang up, called the next guy, and got irate again. And then this guy was like, okay, you know what? I don't do this for anybody. 6 months. I'll give you 6 months. It's like, thank you, sir. Click, called back again. Then so I was just playing roulette, calling every time, and then they started noticing that my notes started getting like all together. Yeah. And then I blew up. I was like, "Motherfucker, you have no rules over there because one guy said 2 months, this guy said 6 months. I know you idiots have the button to make this shit happen. What do I got to do? Do I got to scream?"
Yeah. It's Thunderdome over there. There's no rules.
And I give up. I'm like, "Fuck, this is done." And Elizabeth calls one time. Mm-hmm. Like the next day, I tell her, I was like, "You call." Yeah. They gave it all back.
Good cop, bad cop.
She got some dude, you know, probably never saw a woman in his life or something like that.
Did she cry?
No, she didn't even cry.
Dang.
She didn't have to pull any sympathy cards. She just called, and they did it. Fuck that
Shout
website.
Out to Liz.
Yeah, she's whatever.
Well, you know
not that he's still bitter about it or anything.
Not that I'm still bitter about it whatsoever.
You're
Emma.
It's been a while since we had to hear that.
Is telling the news. That's the Emma's Telling the News theme song. We have some news to get to because last week, obviously, we didn't. Last weekend's show was all Avengers focused. We did another web talk and we told you everything you need to know to get ready for Avengers Endgame, which, by the way, we are on Avengers Endgame Eve.
Oh my God.
Comes out tomorrow.
We're in the Endgame now.
Physically don't know how to process this information.
It's been 10 years. It's been
11 years.
11 years. In the making.
I can't.
Are you guys looking at reviews or anything?
No.
God, no.
I will watch a fucking trailer. You think I'm looking
Get
at
your
a
head out of
review?
your
You
ass.
looked at some reviews?
Oh, yeah. Not spoiler reviews, but non-spoiler reviews.
Yeah, no, I mean...
I don't want to hear nothing.
You don't want to
Not
see
saying
the percentages on Rotten Tomatoes or anything?
Nope. I don't care.
What if it's bad? And
I don't care.
Save you some... What if it's great?
I don't care.
You don't want to even know what other people are
Nope.
saying about it. With no details.
I will find out tomorrow.
A number 1 to 10.
Nope.
Nope.
I will find out tomorrow.
What if I just make up a number? Would you get angry?
I will punch you in the throat.
Okay, I won't do that then. All right. So what?
With the quickness.
What's the news looking like based around this? What are people saying? Are you guys even looking at news stories?
Nope.
No. If I see a headline that says Endgame, I scroll.
If it says Endgame, if it has the picture of any of the Avengers, I scroll so far down, I'm in 2 weeks ago for tweets.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
You're probably just going to want to stay off social media until you...
I use Social Fixer on Chrome, and I blacklisted the words Avengers, Endgame, Captain America, Stark. Like, I had just blacklisted everything. So anything that comes up like that, it just hides on my feed.
Well, there has been a giant campaign on social media. It's just kind of an Endgame story of... it's basically the hashtag, don't spoil Avengers.
Yeah.
The directors...
They did the same thing last time. Yeah,
they're coming out... Everybody's coming out of the woodwork. I think the internet has finally all come to terms on one issue.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna spoil it. So
Yeah.
feel free to look on the internet, guys.
Wow, you just pretty much guaranteed someone's going to spoil it during this show in our stream.
No, they would never do that. This is the
Spoilers
internet, a
already
land of endless possibilities. Why would people spend it?
Endless
being negative?
possibilities of spoiling the movie for everybody.
Spoilers been out. I most of the time when I go to sleep at night, I'll fall asleep to YouTube. I mostly watch YouTube and Twitch. And I had watched a non-spoiler review. No, I'm not saying anything about the non-spoiler review, but I watched one from one of my favorite comic book YouTubers. And then I went on to watch another one from another one of my favorite YouTubers, like he does video stuff and whatnot. And then right as he started taking live questions, I was like, and this is where I part, because you're going to mess around and some people are paying you for this. You're going to mess around and say something I don't want to hear. So I went back and I went to my feed and I see something that's like 4 seconds ago, and I look up and I wanted to fall asleep to some other comic reviews, and it was from that dude, and it was like spoiler. Now he lives in New Zealand, and it was like spoiler review, and I'm like, bruh, I can't even fall asleep to YouTube tonight because my recommendations might accidentally kick it to something. I wake up and I'm like, I'm looking at the last 5 minutes of the movie, you know what I mean? I'm like, bruh, I can't even. And then that's when I realized. I turned over and I was like, we really are in the end game now.
Wow. How many times are you gonna make that joke?
I don't know. How much more time do we have in the show? Let's divide that.
Multiply it times carry the one.
I got my tickets for Saturday, and I'm really starting to second guess my decision.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, because Thursday is date night in the Vincent household. I'm thinking about just trying to find any movie theater that has 2 seats. They don't even have to be next to each other.
Drive-ins.
Are the drive-ins showing it?
Drive-ins
the
are
night
showing
of?
it, and from what I heard today, they're basically starting at 8 or whenever it's dark enough, and they're just doing it all the way until the sun comes up.
Mm-hmm.
So you just go.
I can't do that though. I can't experience a movie this important on a drive-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
My
true.
theater that I'm seeing it at tomorrow, last time I checked, had 2 seats right next to me. So you might
Really?
I want to check it.
For tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, hit me up with that immediately after the show, because
Gotcha, brother.
I'm really feeling the nerves. I'm getting more excited now than I thought I was. So I can only imagine how you guys feel. With
We're gonna vomit.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Remember, we planned for that. We're gonna get an extra bucket of popcorn with no popcorn in it.
Perfect.
It's just gonna be your vomit bucket.
Yes. We'll not have to leave the theater.
Got plenty of those.
So what do we got in the video game news world?
So we had some pretty big Overwatch news out of completely nowhere.
Yes.
I don't know, was it just me or was nobody expecting anything?
Nobody was expecting anything.
I could speak for the Overwatch League community and say none of us had any clue this was happening.
So Overwatch, there was a developer update that Jeff Kaplan came out with a video talking about a new mode that they're putting in arcade, Overwatch Workshop, where you can essentially, he says it's, quote, a scripting mode that will allow you to make custom game modes within the, I lost my place, custom game browser, but also allow you to do really cool things like prototype your own Overwatch character.
This is not just like what hit Fortnite a while ago. Like, it is kind of like these modes are getting more and more popular. We see with Super Mario Maker, you know, that new franchise that came out. And then even before that in Halo, what did we have? The
Forge?
Forge.
Yeah,
But Forge was a map editor. This is not a map editor.
Yes.
This is a game editor. You make your own game.
In that, though, it gave you control over where to put things on the map, but you could also make game modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so this, he says, gives players some of the powers of the devs to basically create whatever you want. It's a custom layer of interface and a custom scripting system on top of what the devs use themselves.
Yeah.
So it's like intense. This is not, this isn't Forge mode. This isn't creative. This isn't build. Like you don't have to have experience, but he says people that are going to get the best use out of this are going to be people that have prior experience in game making or scripting or coding. Like he called it a power user feature.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be for everybody.
And then what's even nuttier is that it dropped on the PTR like an hour after the original video dropped.
Yeah.
So this is a feature that is already out on PC that people can use, and it's going to be usable on the console.
Yeah, PC and console both.
Yeah.
How are you going to script on the console?
It's a lot of drop-down menus.
Oh, is it just drop-down menus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of went around through it a little bit, and I'm not a programmer in the slightest. I've done a little bit of like website stuff, and then my MySpace looked pretty sick. But that's all I ever did with coding. So this was fucking hard. I started messaging my smartest friends immediately. And I was like, okay, I got some ideas. How are we gonna make this happen? Because it's cool. Like Emma said. There's always been like these memes in Overwatch League, like, "Hey, let Torb wall run," or give Reinhardt a rocket launcher and stuff like that. Now you're going to be able to do that shit.
Dang.
It's cool.
So they said they've worked to make it as accessible as possible. Like, it is at its core going to be something that you need to have at least some base knowledge of, or something that you need to be able to go out and look for the answers on your own and find them. But they've worked to make it as accessible as they can, and they created a new forum on the Blizzard website so you can actually talk to devs.
Yeah.
And get help or talk to other people that are coding or scripting things and do that. So we talked about some examples of game modes, so like ones that they've done. So they did one called Molten Floor, which is basically the floor is lava. Anytime a character's on the ground, they catch on fire.
True American.
Yeah. You got Mirror Deathmatch. They made one that was free for all, but every player plays the same character for 1 minute. And then after a minute it switches. And after a minute it switches. And so like it's a really balanced version of free for all.
Okay.
Let's see what else. He talked about balanced mystery heroes.
Yeah.
Doing mystery heroes with like, but setting the parameters to like, it's a mystery hero, but the team needs to have X amount of tanks, X amount of healers.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I hate starting mystery heroes and your team has like 5 healers.
The sustain is insane, but no damage.
I want to see like, do you remember Call of Duty had gun game? Where everybody
Yes!
starts off with a pistol and you get a kill, then you move to like
Yes,
a
I
semi-
loved that mode.
Yeah, that
it
was good.
It was really fun, and anybody could kind of get in there and have a chance. And then as you're getting better, like you start off with shitty weapons, and then you build up and you get really good weapons, and then you get this awkward patch of like you have to kill someone with a bow and arrow or something like that.
That sounds pretty cool.
To like keep people that get really, really, really high up from just dominating.
And then the last one is usually really hard, like a tomahawk.
Okay.
So I would like to see one where you start off with like someone reasonable like McCree, and then you get a kill, and then you spawn up as soldier, and then you keep going, and then maybe the last one you have to kill someone with Torb's hammer.
That would be, somebody's gonna make that.
Somebody's gonna make that. There's already some really cool ones going around where like it's one Sombra who's invisible and can go really fast, and a bunch of Soldier 76s. I can't remember what it's called. And there's one called Ghostbusters, which there's a bunch of Symmetras, and you have to kill the Wraithing Reaper, who's like super fast.
Oh, okay. Because they have their turrets.
Yeah. No, with her gun is like a beam.
Yeah.
So it's
that.
like
Yeah,
a proton pack. So yeah, this is going to be really cool. I'm excited. What I'm curious about, because what he said very specifically in there is that they didn't add like you can't add external models and images and things like that. So you have to work with assets in the game. And then they tell you that you can do character prototyping. So does that mean they're going to give you access to the models from the archive events? Because those are assets in the game, and they're kind of like just robotic type characters. And there's other NPC type characters that kind of pop up through those. Or you're going to have to do like, okay, just pretend this is a new character, but he looks just like Soldier 76.
But he does everything that Symmetra does.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that'll be cool to see how it works. So he also said that it includes something called the Workshop Inspector, which is a custom debugger that'll run basically everything you've put into whatever your custom map or custom game mode is. We'll run all of that and report back to you on what works and what doesn't and why it doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
So like when you're programming something on a game, like you have to debug all the time. Right. And so you're like, how am I going to do that on this program and figure out what the fuck worked and what didn't? So they programmed that into this mode, which I think is really cool.
Pretty dope.
My favorite comment on this when I was watching the video, and I think it was like the top comment on the YouTube, and it was like, Overwatch community, balance your game. Jeff, balance it yourself.
Do it. Yeah. We're done.
Nice.
We had on Shock, we had a meme go out today. Everyone, shits on Brig just because when she came in, she was ridiculously overpowered. And I think she's tuned to be pretty fair, but she still picked in 90% of like the top tier matches, like 95%. So she's still a character that you have to deal with. And the stun, everybody's had their ult like fucking ruined by a stun. So just by nature, in a fun way, you just kind of hate Brig. But she's a great character model, and like her story is amazing. And like I actually mained her a lot to climb out of the elo hell that I was in because of the same reasons. So we were just joking around on the Twitter, and we went into the thing and made a game type mode where you delete Brig, and we called it Delete Brig. Okay. And so when it's going into processes, it's like, are you sure you want to delete Brig? And so I took a screenshot, posted that on the Twitter, and I was like, hey, are we doing this right? And it was one of the most viral hits we've had in a while on social, but unfortunately, the voice actress who plays her replied back to the tweet like,
No!
Like, she put like big yikes or something like that.
Aww.
Oh.
Come to find out that she has like been pretty vocal about, because you know how I'm to me and to all the people that I would make that joke for, it's just delete Brig. It's just a hashtag. Everybody says delete Brig. It's on signs in the background of Overwatch League. It's just a meme now.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there's that 2% of
That take it too far.
That take it way too far, and they go to the panels and they send her death threats, and you know there's
The idiots.
and so she's been like pretty vocal about that kind of stuff. So when she types that, you know, she's a very popular voice actress, beloved, and then there's come the comments of just like, Brig is a great character, Brig is this, Brig is that, you know, this, you should say sorry. And so we, of course, put out a tweet, because nothing we do is ever to hurt anybody's
Yeah.
feelings. It's never to be malicious. And you know, there was the ratio of negative to positive comments was like 8 to 10. You know, like it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Or good for us, but we're never trying to hurt nobody. So we did reply like, "Hey, we love the character, but we hate getting stunned." Like that's basically what it comes down to. And then she replied back with like a heart and some nice stuff too.
Cool.
So it's crisis averted, and it's just a reminder of like, even if you think it's lighthearted, when you have a platform, you just have to be careful. Any little bit of negativity is at somebody's expense somewhere. So I learned a little lesson today based off of this story.
Way to go.
The more you know.
Thanks.
You hurt her feelings.
I know.
She's probably a super nice person, too.
She is. That's the thing. Like, I did my research. You know, all these voice actors for Overwatch, you see them at all the panels and they're in all the videos and stuff. They're a phenomenal group of people. And I never really think about when you make those jokes that the voice actor cares.
Speaking of having your feelings hurt, we got some Anthem news.
Ooh.
So, okay, so I put the story in the notes. And I just paste the headline in. Emma and I are working on the document at the same time. I paste the headline in. I see her cursor drop down to the end of the headline and just put LMAO. And then go back to writing her notes.
Wait, so if I had to guess, I'd say that Anthem and EA got everything figured out and they put out a patch update that fixed everything, right?
Yep,
Yes.
nailed it.
Sweet. Next story.
Bioware has delayed Anthem's Cataclysm event.
Wait,
Not
an
at
event?
all. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Cataclysm...
A whole ass event.
Cataclysm was like their first big main event coming out for Act 1 for like their big thing that was coming out. And basically they've put it on hold because they've been listening to fans, quote unquote, and the community.
Why'd you put that in quotes?
Well, because like I'm sure there are fans of the game, but I think it's probably not the fans that were saying the stuff that needed to be said.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, we need to prioritize fixing bugs, like doing some quality of life fixes before we do this Cataclysm event. So they pushed back, basically completely threw off. They had, I think it was a 4-quarter schedule, and they basically pushed everything out to like TBD. So they can do quality of life, bug fixes, and just kind of like fix everything that's wrong with the game before they start making new content for the game. They did come out with some small patches like fairly recently that added some new stuff. Yeah, they added some new stuff, but overall, Cataclysm was going to be like their big event, like culminating like their like the first like I guess it would be quarter since they launched.
Yeah, so they said that what's being delayed are mastery systems, guilds, legendary missions phase 2, weekly stronghold challenges, leaderboards, free play events, and Cataclysm. All that is being delayed.
So basically everything.
Everything.
So
Everything.
All to fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're using the Overwatch debugger to go through
Yeah.
and fix all
They're
this.
like, hey guys, Blizzard just came out with this really good tool. Let's see if we can make it.
Yeah, they got some, I mean, we all know they got some really bad press, and it's just, they said, we've learned a lot since the game went live. We've heard a lot of feedback from all of you, and we've been working diligently to improve as many things as we can in the short term. We fixed a lot of bugs, made changes which we believe will begin to point us in the right direction in the future. That being said, we know there's a long way to go before Anthem becomes the game we all want it to be. So they also didn't say when any of this is coming. They didn't say when they're delaying it too. They just said delay. So it's like indefinitely delayed. They just said it was things that were being talked about. You know, it's too early to talk about.
Which, I mean, personally, I'm okay with it. I think it's good when a game developer does something like this, because when you have a broken game, or you have a game that's getting such bad reviews and such bad press, and then you just keep thinking, where more content is going to help it. More content's going to, make it better. And everyone's like, why are you making new content instead of fixing what's broken?
I think this game is so far from where it's supposed to be, though.
Yeah.
Like, especially we did an entire episode pretty much on this was supposed to be the Bob Dylan of video games, and it's clearly the Nickelback.
Right.
The Nickelback.
I don't. Damn.
So when you have, it's already Nickelback, and it's like broken.
I don't know about that, because Nickelback is one of those, like, it's not really the worst thing in the world. It just gets shit on a lot. Anthem is worse than Nickelback.
Look at this graph. I think
of our sales projections going down.
I don't think anything they do is going to bring back fans. I think what it's going to do is it's going to make the fans, the players are playing it, happier.
Do you think they want fixes, or do you think they want new shit at this point? Because if they're still fans of the game, given its flaws, I'm sure they by now they're probably beat the game several times over, and they're just looking for new shit.
I mean,
fixes.
I have fun playing it, but I just don't play it that often, just because of like the glitches. And so I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I would say being a player, I would want them to fix stuff before they start coming up with new things. Plus, just from a PR perspective, I think that's the right move. Like, don't try and have new stuff coming out when you have when you have bad things in your original game anyway. Fix what you need to, and then come out with the new content. Otherwise, it makes it seem like you just don't give a shit, and you're just trying to get more money and just build more hype. And that's not cool.
But that's what they're actually doing.
Yeah,
that's
yes.
Even though that's
what they're doing. That's what they're doing, 100%. But they're doing it in a better way.
I mean, yeah, like so you don't want negative PR, right? Like this is their own event. This is their own like publicity. So yeah, you probably don't want to shine a spotlight on your turd,
right?
Until it's not. I don't want to say till it's not a turd anymore, because I don't know when it's not going to be a turd.
Yeah,
polished a turd, it's still a turd.
But at least until it's polished.
If it's shiny, then it's a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm still not near as interested in this, and I don't know. Did you say we have an Apex story in there?
Yes. Yeah.
We have one Apex story, and I know you have another Apex story.
I wanted to just talk about Apex in general. So I wanted to pivot in that direction because we're talking about events.
Apparently it's Cory selling the news now.
That's fine.
I think, and this isn't Cory telling the news. This is just Cory getting on a soapbox and yelling at
you know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I put a lot of work into these notes, and if I was going to use the notes, then it's fine.
Wow.
Whatever.
It's
fine. I'm not really mad about it.
This is a lengthy transition to the next story. Where the hell is the events in this game? Like, it's really getting bad. Like, one thing that we talked about a lot in this war of these games was that Fortnite has shown the ability to adapt quickly. Mm-hmm. Like, when Apex came out, it took the best features and like, these are ours now, bitch, yoink. Yeah. And you need to do that to survive. And Apex, as great as it was for a base, needs to look at Fortnite and their speed and what they're delivering people. And at this point, just copy it. Yeah. Because that's what you need to do to keep people interested.
No.
Add a new map.
Hard disagree.
You want it to keep doing what it's doing right now?
I don't want a new thing every week if it's going to come at the expense of the company the way Fortnite has.
Yeah, that's what the company.
Did you look at the next story we're going to talk about?
Let's get into it.
Yeah. So Polygon actually just put out a pretty sizable article on the way that Fortnite has been able to keep all these weekly content updates is by constantly being in crunch mode and their devs getting worked to the fucking bone for 70 and 100 hours at a time. So if I can survive without, something new every something shiny, something new, something, oh my God, I have to play this game right now. Like, in order for the long term to have it, have happy devs, have devs that like their jobs, that aren't going to leave, that aren't going to perform more poorly because they're being overworked. Not that that's, I don't know that that's happening on Fortnite, but just like, in the long term, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with less content and happier devs.
Fortnite, no, see, there's why can't you have both? Porque no los dos? Because just because one company is achieving the goals by killing its employees, these updates don't have to come every week. But this game now has definitely worn its welcome. Like, it's months. It's been months now, and all we got was this kind of half-assed season pass, and they're not even giving us a glimpse of what's to come in the future right now.
I do want a new map.
Yeah.
I do, but I mean, we have new character. Well, we have a new character. We got, the season pass, like you said, regardless of whatever is in it. But we did get a new character, so it's not like they haven't given us anything.
Yeah.
I think I think season 1 should have come out. They should have come out with a new map when they came out with the season 1 battle pass. I think I heard rumors that season 2 may have one, but I don't quote me on that. But I think I heard rumors about it. But here's my thing: is like there needs to be a balance. Like Fortnite should not be the template, should not be the bar, because
Absolutely not. It's not tenable.
It's not only that, but it gets too gimmicky after a while. Every time I go online and I go on Twitter and I see like Fortnite's newest patch and there's fucking hamster balls now, I'm like, are you kidding me? It just looks dumb. It just looks gimmicky.
You're trying to come up with so much content so fast that your ideas can't keep up with it.
No.
So you have stupid shit.
And then they end up getting taken out in the next patch because they didn't balance it correctly. Like, it's just, I think there needs to, yes, Apex probably needs some new stuff. It needs a facelift, maybe a new map, maybe another character, something. But I don't think that Fortnite should be the goal.
Absolutely not.
Especially because I don't want to see like Avengers Apex. Like, I want to see stuff like that. I think that's dumb.
It's too literal. You guys are taking it way too literal. I'm not saying put hamster balls in it and it needs to be like forced content every other week and now there's airplanes and now you can use the Titans, from Titanfall. That's not it. There just needs to be a communication that things are changing and
that's
just
fine.
some changes.
You just can't use Fortnite as your example.
Well, it does it the best though. It really does the best job.
Maybe from the outside it looks like
it's the most successful game of all time.
But that doesn't mean they're doing it well.
If they have culture issues where people are in crunch all the time and being overworked, that is a company issue. Like that,
and that's doing it poorly.
Yeah.
If your company is suffering because of the way you do business, you're not doing it well.
So without that, give us more content on a regular basis that's meaningful and changes the game and makes it interesting.
When's the last time they had a major change?
On Fortnite or Apex?
Mm-hmm.
They really haven't done any huge changes.
How long has it officially been out?
I'll look it up.
While he's looking that up.
Yeah.
So what the actual story was the CEO of Respawn did an interview where they talked about they're not planning to do weekly updates for Apex the way that Fortnite does. They said the Battle Royale game will continue to have seasonal updates instead in an effort to prevent development crunch. And they didn't reference Epic Games or Fortnite, but it comes on the heels of that report from Polygon that says employees have reported working anywhere between 70 to 100 hours a week. Some have been fired after missing deadlines because they chose not to work weekends, which just cultivates this culture where employees working long hours is expected, and if you don't, then you're going to get fired. And that's how they're maintaining their release schedule, and Respawn's just immediately we're not doing that, so don't ever expect that from us.
I think that's fair, but they should make sure that when they do these seasonal updates, then there's a lot on the line. And Fortnite can go week to week in, all be miserable, but in the end they're getting some crazy results and the people are never bored. And that's the thing with the video games. If you want to keep your game on top, you got to keep people from getting bored. And if they went to a period where even Fortnite, if it was seasonal, I'm sure they'd still do a great job because they're just making those great ideas. So Apex is playing a dangerous game to where if they're going to make people wait 3 or 4 months to get an update and that update sucks, people are going to abandon the game quickly. Meanwhile, in Fortnite, they put out something bad and then they'll scramble and then they'll revert it back and then they'll come up with something a little different and they're always doing something or fidgeting with the game. But all of the streamers, they're going back to Fortnite. King Richard's playing Fortnite again. He was all on the Apex train. Ninja, I haven't seen him play Apex in a while. All the influencers are going back to Fortnite because they're bored with Apex.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'm ready for us to let go of Fortnite.
It's not going to happen.
I know it won't, but this is the final nail in the coffin for me of the hype of this game is coming at the expense of real people.
Oh, for it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's
not a Fortnite thing. It's
a games industry thing, but that doesn't mean it's not a Fortnite thing. It's 100% a Fortnite thing.
It's an Epic Games thing.
Epic Games.
That's fine. It's still a Fortnite thing. It's the Fortnite team. It's Epic Games. It's whatever. But it comes down to they're doing that because of that game.
Yeah.
No unions yet, huh?
Nope.
Not that I know of, no.
There's no unions in the video game industry.
Well, as history shows time and time again, you want something to change. It's power to the people. It's going to be up to the people to change it. Any corporation and a board member who's making fat money and this and that, they're just not that invested in what the people need, and the people can't keep sitting there and being taken advantage of. So it needs to be unions, because I keep hearing these stories over and over again, and to me it's like, I don't think that these devs are going to do, or these companies are going to do anything to treat their employers better until people start saying, okay, well, this is what's on the line and we're walking to the unionize.
Well,
Other
they
than
know
that, it's not going to happen.
They don't have to do anything because they know how competitive the games industry is, because it has that shine on the outside of, oh, you can make video games for a living, so if you don't want to work here, that's fine. There's 100 other people. We can fire you and get one of them in here. And then the turnover's so high, and the turnover just keeps going and going. It doesn't matter, because there's an endless supply of idiots that don't know how it works, that are just ready to lay their life down.
That's why it has to be down. That's why it's going to come down to the people. And just like when people go on strike, there's all, the term scab, people that are coming to take it. And that's a whole nother thing of, is it or is it not ethical and whatnot. But it has to start somewhere. So I don't know who it is. I don't know how, but get together, use the internet, and stand up for yourself. Get up, stand up for your rights.
Well, and I think one of the harder parts might be also that because job security is already non-existent in the games industry, it's almost impossible to save money in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
You don't know that you're going to have a job, so when you don't have a nest egg, it's hard to go on strike, because you're like, I can't be without work for this amount of time.
Right.
And then when you know all these companies talk to each other, if I go on strike when I work for this company, I'm never going to work for another company again.
Right.
It fucking sucks.
It has to be. And I feel you, and that's the reality. But what is the ultimate reality? If you keep, I'm not saying don't put pressure on them, but the ultimate pressure is, this is what we're doing. Because if you put no pressure on them, it's never going to change. And every time something like this happens, there's always some sort of sacrifice. There's going to be that first group of people, and they shouldn't have to, but they do, that make the sacrifice, and then maybe the ball gets rolling. But it's people got to come together in some way. There has to be some web of support. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep being the sad story.
Well, the other side of that coin is as consumers, vote with your dollar. Don't support the companies that do this. And so if the employees can't go and do something because, like Emma said, like, there's no guarantees and they can get blacklisted, then as, consumers, we could say, like, hey, I'm not going to support a game developer, like a game publisher, that treats its devs like this.
What's crazy, though, about this game in particular, though, is that the audience doesn't give a shit.
That's the thing, because
they're all 10.
Right.
And that's part of why they feel the need to come out with content updates every 5 minutes, because they can't fucking focus on anything.
Now they're coming out with an
cycle.
Avengers thing now too.
Is it really?
They did already
they did. They're
before.
doing an Endgame event.
They did that with Infinity War. They came out
with the Thanos.
With the Thanos, yeah.
Yeah, and this time it looks like they're going. I think that was maybe a test pilot, and Marvel was like, "We want more of this shit," because I'm sure it was a huge success. The memes alone made it huge, and then now they're teasing, I think, skins. There's a character with a Captain America skin.
Right.
So this is Fortnite. They're not going anywhere. I don't know what will cause them, if to change, or necessarily how bad it is compared to some of the other stories we've been reading about, and then the culture issues at Riot. There's just a lot of dirt going in on game development companies, because I believe that that's what people are interested in right now. And it's
Riot has a culture of sexism and discrimination.
Yeah, and they just tried to clean up their image kind of with a new logo and stuff. Like, these types of pieces are getting big stories, whether they're on big companies or at the expense of smaller ones. We're seeing this happen. So
scandal always gets attention. That's just how it is. But stuff like this, at least, like, if it calls attention to something, if something can be done, then that's good. But time will tell.
People are going to talk about it, which is good. But I just think that in this market with Fortnite specifically, you got 10-year-olds, and then the only time they go to their parents to get money to play. Their parents don't give a shit who's creating this video game or where it came from or how many
as long as it keeps
people
little
died.
Johnny occupied and out of their face so they can watch Real Housewives.
So she can cheat on her husband. Yeah, exactly.
Holy crap!
Holy old
What's wrong with both of you? Damn. You want to talk about something?
Have you seen how fucked up some of those kids are online? You know that it's because they got some shit going on in their lives.
Their heroes embezzle from the government,
I was
Emma.
gonna say, that sounded real specific.
Real just snack cider over there.
And by the way, it took me a while, but Apex came out on February 4th. 2019. So
Okay, so it's been like 2 months.
yeah, they need to hurry the fuck up because
Yeah,
people are getting
calm
bored.
down.
Whoa! It's been 2 months!
Yeah, calm your tits,
In
all
a
right?
battle royale game where you do the same thing over and over and over again, you kind of need a little bit more variation quicker, or
How come nobody says anything about PUBG? PUBG's still huge.
they do updates.
Yeah, but they don't do updates like Fortnite.
No, not
It
as
took them-
often, but they have multiple maps, and then
Yeah, but it took them forever to get a second map.
their season
them a really
pass
long
keeps
time.
people attracted more. Like you can compare the two of those, and you'll see quickly why PUBG still has audience.
I think everybody needs to calm the fuck down.
Calm down. How long
Calm
has PUBG
down.
been out?
Give
though?
it a
Years.
We'll see. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just like
so
Emma said,
Webb's
it's
right.
still
When
new.
it first started, it was the same game for a long time.
Right.
They didn't have new guns. They didn't have new maps. They didn't have
Everything
new
was in
vehicles.
Russian.
It was in early access on console for a million years after it had already been out on
billion
PC
years.
for forever.
Yikes.
I had a buddy came over and he brought his son, and he wanted to show his son the studio. And so he comes in here and he's all in amazement and looking at all the stuff and pointing out, oh yeah, that's Spider-Man, that's Reaper from Overwatch. And he points at my Star-Lord mask over there,
Yeah.
and he goes, that's Pathfinder. Or yeah, it's like, no, that is not Pathfinder.
Get out of my house.
Hey,
Get out.
friends!
Yeah, and then we're not friends anymore with that guy. What else we got?
So we've got we were talking last week about the discless Xbox and like the more budget-friendly version of the Xbox. So we've got a more budget-friendly version of the Switch that's going to be coming soon.
What can they possibly?
Reportedly.
What are they doing?
No idea. There are absolutely no details on it. So it's kind of corroborating. So there's a report in Bloomberg that kind of corroborated some rumors from elsewhere of a new, cheaper Switch model that's going to come soon. And they're saying they talked to a couple people that said that they would talk on the condition of anonymity, because they're working on the project, they don't want to get fired. But that they can't say anything about it, but it's supposed to be dropping in June, as far as they know.
Ooh, what are your guys' theories on something like this? I have one off the jump. Maybe the Joy-Cons aren't removable.
I was thinking that
That would be my guess.
you have to get like a Pro controller or something.
Yeah.
It's not a Switch no more then.
Well, no, because it still works. You could still undock it or dock it.
How? How you gonna put it? How are you gonna put it in the? Oh, you mean like full size? You mean a full size one in the Joy-Con?
Switch, but the Joy-Cons are just permanent locked in there. You
Yeah.
can't remove the Joy-Cons. Those Joy-Cons, like if you try and buy those by themselves, they're like $80.
Yeah, I know.
So-
But a lot of that's just markup.
And we saw that for this cheaper Xbox, they cut a disc drive and cut $50 off the price. So I could see them saying that the Joy-Cons are perma attached.
Okay, yeah, I could see it.
Maybe
Just be stupid, though.
lower quality graphics.
How much
How
lower
much
can
lower
they
do you go from the Switch?
Yeah.
It can't. This one can't run Skyrim.
This one can't run Skyrim. I don't know. I have no idea. This is crazy. Like for someone who likes Nintendo so much, this is one of the most uninteresting stories.
Yeah.
to-
Well,
to
because
me
you already
that
have a
keeps coming up.
Switch.
I mean, yeah, it's just like to me, just the because I get it, the concept, but it's like, okay, you have the 3DS, you want to have something to replace it, and you want to have like a more entry level model. Like, I don't see why you just don't do what they would do before. Like, just make a because like taking stuff away from it. I love the Switch, but if you took anything away from it, to me, it just like wouldn't even be worth it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
That's part of what makes it cool is that you can. It's kind of like a transformer. You can take stuff off. You can flip it around. Like you leave the Joy-Cons on, or I don't know. It just the only thing that makes sense to me is to make like one with better graphics.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
like when it's in handheld mode. Like that makes sense to me, or something, or maybe one that can do 4K in the dock or something. But like just put that out and then mark the older one down. I don't know.
Well, they did say, so the same people that were talking about that said that the existing Switch will receive a modest upgrade this year.
Okay.
But a more powerful version is not even in the works.
Okay.
They're not even focusing on it.
Which doesn't surprise me because it's Nintendo, and Nintendo's never been about hardware superiority. It's always been about affordability and and accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's always what they're about. So that doesn't surprise me, but I don't know. It's anything other than what it already. If you go down or you take it down any, it's just whack to me. And I don't know.
my other thoughts would be that the screen would be smaller, but then that would make me think that the cost would go up. Like a smaller Switch would probably be more expensive. And then same the other way. If it went bigger, it'd probably be more expensive. So none of those two really make sense. I think the
Joy-Cons thing is like the most plausible now that I've thought about it.
I think with we were kind of talking about the PS5 a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how I think the console generation is dead. Like a PS8 is going to be it's a PS5 and it's a PS4.
Yeah,
like
they'll never even get there.
They're all the same thing now. They're just PCs where you are forced to use controller.
Yeah.
That's all they are. But Nintendo, on the other hand, still does have that era of this is going to be the Switch, and then when the next thing comes, it'll be the next thing. So this is going to be like a nerf on the Switch somehow, but it's still far from like... I think Nintendo's going to be the last console company left. Like true console company. The rest of these are going to be just PCs.
Totally.
So the piece I was reading was talking about because the overall theme was like Nintendo's expecting really big growth this fiscal year. So part of that is going to be because of this newer, cheaper model.
Right.
So I guess if they're announcing it, or if they're putting it out in June, I wonder if we'll hear at E3 and they're going to do a late June, or if we're going to hear it before E3.
Right.
The other thing is that Nintendo's trying to start selling Switches in China, which today I learned they don't sell Switches in China.
I had no idea. Why is
I wonder why.
Because their government is...
Communism?
It's very hard. So they're working with Tencent, which is a huge Chinese game company. Though they got approval to work with Tencent, and then they said that approval is like a tiny piece of the puzzle. So they said the company still has to receive the country's China compulsory certificate approval, and each software title has to have approval from the State Administration of Press, Publication, Radio, Film, and Television. So every single game for the Switch has to get approved by this administration.
So somebody on that board has to sit there and play every single Switch game and approve it.
And basically, like, make sure, do we have to censor this? Does this have anti-communism or anti-Chinese themes or anything? So they have, like, a huge backlog of titles, and they said as of now, they've gotten through applications up to last July.
Jeez.
So they're not expecting it anytime soon, although analysts that were talking about it were saying that it'll probably be by the end of the year, but nobody's really sure. So that could be a good boon for Nintendo sales, so maybe it's time to invest in Nintendo? I don't know.
Possibly. I'm surprised they're still selling as many as they are. Like, their sales for Switch...
Their sales are going to go higher than they expected for this fiscal year. Because they're I think tomorrow their financials come out, and I think the goal had been 17 million, and people are estimating it's been about 17.5 million. Damn. So they're going to beat their own goals for sales for the Switch. It's fucking ridiculous.
You were talking about that company, Tencent. Mm-hmm. They actually own a 40% stake in our buddies Epic Games, Fortnite. So these guys have their hands in everything. I believe they also own like Esports Arena or something, and
they own a lot of shit.
It had a lot to do with why we were seeing Esports Arenas pop up in Walmarts, I think. So they're a deep pocketed company, and that the fact that they control China, which is just in a huge untapped sort of like market for games right now.
Yeah.
Wow, we got a $5 donation. From Mari. Thank you so much, Mari and Chad.
Thank you.
We gotta change those notifications.
That scared Emma and I.
So
they got deep pockets. Here comes the money.
That's
actually
horrible.
Ridiculous timing.
So that's gonna be a thing. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then the only like little headline thing I had was the Endgame event for Fortnite.
And that's all you can really say. No one really knows what it is. I think
it exists.
It'll probably drop tomorrow or something, along with the movie.
It's gonna end the game. Endgame.
Emma can only dream.
I can only fucking hope.
She can only dream.
What could make me love Marvel more? That could.
I know what could make you love it more. Curtis's Comic Book Corner.
Woohoo.
You guys keep adding the book. You got to keep it alliteration. Curtis's Comic Corner.
Curtis's Comic Book Corner. Okay.
Okay, gotta take out the book. Take out the book. You did it again.
No, I was that time I was like repeating it back. I think if you help me write a theme song for it, I think it could happen.
I don't think she cares that much.
I don't care about anything that much.
Yeah, she's a nihilist.
Just like
okay,
Cory.
Rick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Oblivion Comics and Coffee for providing us with awesome comics to review every week. We have two yet again. We will start off with Ascender, Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. Ascender came right behind Descender. It is through Image Comics. Jeff Lemire, I am familiar with from his time. Actually, the biggest thing that I liked from Jeff Lemire, he's currently or was writing The Century.
Ooh.
But he wrote Moon Knight. An incredible run on Moon Knight. I think it was 3 volumes, and it was some of the most mind-bending, schizophrenic type writing. So the art is the first thing that attracted me to Descender, which preceded the Ascender, and it's more strong when it comes to the character building, in the world building. You look at it, it's just kind of a little etheric.
Oh yeah, look at this. It looks like watercolor.
Exactly, and that's kind of what pulled me in, and then it kind of brings you into the world. This particular issue, like I said, I really like the character building. I really like the mysticism and whatnot in it. And the art is obviously incredible. I was a little let down by Jeff Lemire's writing in this one, actually.
What part of it? Because you said it sounded like a recipe for success.
It's the story. So if you like, and there kind of tends to be usually 2 groups. Obviously, there could be more, but usually people that like stuff that's more story driven, and usually you sacrifice some of the character development in that, or someone who likes more character development, and you usually obviously sacrifice some of the storytelling. I felt like the character development was the strength. Part of what pulled me away is I wanted to relate and have a little more investment in the main character, Mila, but the antagonist, who goes by Mother, which is so cool in it. It's all creepy. Like, you get into the town and there's all like these like security officers, Mother loves you.
Oh, wow.
Mother's always watching. So that world building I really enjoyed, but Mila just kind of didn't really connect. They didn't give a whole lot of investment with her, but Mother was incredible, going and speaking to some of the other mothers that from her lineage that are already dead, and there was a little bit of a conflict between them, which I thought was really, really cool and interesting, and I think obviously will play a big role. So if you are into character development and really nice, kind of like I said, kind of ethereal art, this is a really, really solid book, and Dustin Nguyen really holds it together. It's just a pretty book to look at, so really, really awesome.
These robot heads look like Cybermen from Doctor Who.
They do.
That's the first thing I thought. I looked over, I was like, is this a crossover? Like,
I wouldn't be surprised, because that's the other thing that's cool about indie books is they have a little bit more sway to kind of show you who their influences are.
Yeah.
So, they could take liberties. This is totally creator owned.
There is a Doctor Who comic. Is it Image?
There is.
Image
Doctor Who, I want to say it's probably IDW, because IDW usually gets the license for things.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But actually, what's funny is that might be one of our future comics that we were.
Hey, there we go.
I'll talk to Laura down at Oblivion Comics and Coffee about that. The second one is Wonder Woman, number 69. So Ascender was number 1. Wonder Woman is number 69. I have not read. Yeah, and oddly enough, it's about couples and Cupid showing up, and everybody kind of loses their damn mind and just starts going after each other.
Doing.
They totally knew. They totally knew. I was reading it on stream, and as I start to read it, I'm like, okay, y'all really took advantage of the fact that this was issue number 69. G. Willow Wilson, who people may know as being she contributed and helped with some of Miss Marvel, but I don't know if she was the main writer for the runs. I know Sana Amanat was the creator of the current Kamala Khan version of Miss Marvel. But G. Willow Wilson has been writing Wonder Woman for a while now, took over after the very awesome Greg Rucka run. And this book, I don't read a lot of Wonder Woman. I never read a lot of Wonder Woman comics, but she's one of my favorite heroes. And I got in here, and the dialogue off the bat was incredible. Let alone the fact that it starts off with these 2 couples obviously having an affair, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're so hot for each other right now, we could just do it right here on the porch. And then she's like, oh no, then everybody would find out about the affair. And then up drives his wife, and she's like, oh, with the babysitter, huh? And he's like, oh babe, I thought I told you I was out of town. And she's like, oh, don't even worry about it, because I'm so happy with so and so right now. And it's the female babysitter. So her and this babysitter start making out in front of the husband and wife, and everybody's tripping out. And then Wonder Woman and her her homies are flying in the air, and then something comes at them, and they're like, "What the heck is going on?" So they go down, find out what's going on, and Wonder Woman is immediately like, "Okay, something's going on." Turns out that there's some Cupids involved, and I won't give it fully away, but there's someone that everybody who knows Wonder Woman is fairly familiar with, and she's kind of behind it all. So
I know who it is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look at the comic book.
Yeah, I did not expect that much out of this comic, and they totally like just threw me into a hell of a story. And that's my thing. Even if you're on issue 69, I don't care. Like every comic is someone's first comic.
Yeah.
Have a beginning, middle, and end that someone who can just hop in on and just like follow along with. And shout out to G. Willow Wilson, killed it. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely cop that one.
That is sick.
So thanks to Oblivion Comics and Coffee for providing us with these awesome comics, and we will be reading more of them and reviewing them for you weekly.
Also, we got to thank Mainframe GG. Those guys over there with the what is it? We're getting into summer, so it's time to start thinking about picking
Summer
up
line.
your summer line clothes over there. And then Vast.gg. And not an official sponsor by any means, but he hooked us up with a keg once. King Kong Brewery. Have you guys been to that spot yet?
I haven't been to the spot yet, but I've had the beer, and the beer is delicious. We had the beer at our Game of Thrones trivia night at
right.
Oblivion Comics and Coffee.
Yeah, they have beer.
Sold out of the orangutan IPA.
Yeah, I went there, met a friend, and man, the vibe was cool. It was like, it wasn't where I thought it was. It's right there in Arden, right there area.
Yeah.
And it's not very far. It's kind of a really nice, cool looking building, and it's like, I love Track 7. It's like super close to my house, and I go there a lot, but it's not very personal. When you walk in, you go grab your beer, and then you go sit down somewhere far away. This is one of those, everybody knows your name, the bartender's, talking to you and making juice for everybody. Like, it felt like a little family. So I had a lot of fun there, and then they had this apricot beer that was fucking insane. That's my recommendation for anybody in Sacramento. You can go to Oblivion Comics and Coffee and get some King Kong Brewery, or you can just go to the spot itself and have some fun there. But that's it. We also talked about our Patreon exclusive Bang of Thrones, what we're going to do after this show. In a quick little after show, if you go there and you donate $1, you get access to all the podcasts and everything. But for those people who decided to bless the show with $5 or more, they get their name immortalized on our chalk wall right there behind Emma. We'll go to Emma Cam so you can see her right there. Hey, Emma. So we're going to induct people to the Wall of Bang. And so we thank everybody. It's actually really inspiring to see the people joining and checking out the new show. And we love the feedback about my weird theories. So
Thank you for correcting yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess you guys... if it happens, we got to come up with something. I'm the ultimate Game of Thrones person. You guys all have to bend the knee.
Ha! That's not happening again.
You've done it once.
Never again.
We'll see if we can get him to do it again.
I will fall on my sword before that happens. I will march north and fight against you before that happens.
What else do we got to talk about? There's one more thing to plug. Oh, yeah, trivia. We got the trivia night coming up here on May the 4th. It's free comic book day as well, so there's a lot of reasons to go to Oblivion Comics and Coffee. Oh man, we're getting more donations. What the hell? Yoshi, producer, thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Dan.
Oh,
that's awesome. Thank you.
Got a donation from Dan from a game that I think will be...
Nope.
Shut it. Somebody cut his mic.
Nope.
Cut his mic.
I can only cut my own mic. It doesn't work for his mic.
I think the game will be decent. Let's leave it there. But thank you guys so much for listening. For Curtis Fisher, Emma Skies, the real David Webb, my name is Cory, saying you've just been banged.